Hi guys, if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, what's going on, guys? So, I just want to say my apologies. I didn't get a chance to record anything yesterday. I had my first event. That was so cool, and I'm very grateful for Clo Coffee over in Edison, New Jersey. If you ever want to host anything, if you have any creative ideas, the owner is phenomenal. So if you want to reach out and kind of see if you can do something, definitely feel free to do so. So we're going to do a super quick general reading for today. My voice is not great. I was doing a lot of talking and listening yesterday, but that is okay. So we're going to do a general reading with our Golden Art Nouveau deck by Julia Masaglia. And we're going to do a quick sound cleansing. I just want to shout out all of my friends, everyone who showed up to do a reading. We had people who were waiting, so if you did not get a chance to do the reading, I'm so sorry. Next time, if you're in the area and the next time that I'm over at Clo, please feel free, like just like hop right in. If you have my email, feel free to like email me as well. Just kind of be like, hey, like next time, just like reserve your spot because I was not anticipating it to be as popular as it was. So thank you so much, everybody. I'm so grateful. My heart is full. The amount of people that came to support, I have no words. So quick sound cleansing, and then let's get into it for today. Okay. Alrighty. And before we do our reading, we are going to call upon our ancestors closest to the sun, our spirit guides, our angels, whoever helps us to feel divinely protected in this moment. Any evil eye, monitoring spirits, and negative intentions are not welcome here, so you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. Okay. If there is negative intentions that are sent our way at any time, that will get transmuted into peace, love, abundance, and all of the good things. Okay? So, what do we have to listen to? What is the message? Oh, okay, I guess I gotta take that. Hold on. What was that? We got that was aggressive. Oh my God. All right, off the bat. Off the bat. Okay. Hmm. Thanks, universe. Heard. So we got the Three of Cups and the Two of Cups. Okay. So the energy here is a little bit more like the energy in Three of Cups feels like celebration. This feels like stepping out into your socialization era. Okay. So when we read the energy and the symbolism within the card, cups have to do with our feelings, and then we have our group of people that we care about. Okay. So when this fell out, okay, this had a lot of like excited energy. This had a lot of like, I'm like here for like a good time, right? So what I find interesting is this is the card of like celebration. This is the card of socialization, community. And then we also just happen to have the Two of Cups here. Okay. So a lot of water energy here so far. So again, anything to do with cups, we're gonna interpret it as someone who has water placement. So like Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Okay. So this is a potential opportunity for connection. Okay. Now, again, like this kind of gets interpreted as like the love card as well as the actual lover's card. So when this came out, this feels like someone opening their heart to potential opportunities. Okay. So now the interesting part about both of these cards that came out is there was a undertone of uncertainty. Okay. And now the reason why I bring that up is because when you combine both of these cards, okay, because they're both the same suit, right? It will give you the Five of Cups. So when the Five of Cups shows up, like I like to interpret that as like the grieving card, or also like where we're like ruminating about like specific emotions that are coming up for us, right? So I feel like this individual, like what that means is that you have really taken the time to like grieve whatever the situation was, okay? Now that could have been like a ending, right? That could have been like a literal passing, like someone might have passed away, or that could have been like the end of a relationship, that could have been the end of a like job, something that you are pouring a lot of your emotions and like that sense of self into, right? So when you're like a deeply sensitive person, like you don't really like half-ass anything, right? So it makes me feel like whatever it was that you were grieving, because that's not the energy anymore, right? So like that's kind of like left in the past. So that Five of Cups is actually kind of like integrated into these two energies now, right? So whatever it was that you left behind that you were able to process, you're not focusing on that anymore, but you're also kind of like using that as a catalyst for positivity. Okay. So now what I find interesting is the celebration card as well as the Two of Cups, right? So this is someone who is opening their perspective emotionally to expanding their social circle as well. And then we talked a little bit about like opening your heart for romantic opportunities. So this is kind of like a revamping of your emotions, right? So there might have been a situation where like so we grieve in like different ways, right? Like everyone grieves differently. But this makes me feel like there might have been some like instability when it came to feelings, or there might have been like a flood of emotions. So this tells me that you are positioning yourself to basically kind of just like accept all feelings in a non-judgmental way. All right, which is a huge step. Like that's like a giant step in the right direction for healing. Okay. So we're actually gonna pull some clarity cards now because those flew out. And that was aggressive. Sometimes, like when you're like, "All right, universe, like show me the answers or like give me something that I need to know," it's just like bet, and it'll throw something out there. That was funny. All right, let's see what we get. Let's get some clarity on these two cards. So a lot of water energy there, a lot of emotional bandwidth and potential. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Hmm. Bro, I can't make this up. I cannot make this up, okay? What do we just say? We just talked about like potential for like partnership, love, and opportunities in terms of like emotional depth, right? So like this is like a love reading. This is now a love reading, right? That's hilarious. Okay. So um when it comes to your like celebration, right? So like this could be like you like finally embodying and embracing like your like emotional sensitivity, okay? And you're doing it with your friends and those that you care about. Now, these two cards, what I find hilarious is so the lover's card can be like correlated to Gemini. Okay. So this might be someone who has Gemini somewhere in their sun, moon, or rising. You might also have it in your Venus. Okay. So because we got both of these out on the board, this is now like a love reading. That's how I'm going to interpret this. Okay. So when it comes to like love, again, right? Like this isn't necessarily like strict only focus on like the external love. Like this is kind of like a reminder to really pour into yourself because when you're navigating relationships, you're no good to anyone if you're running on empty, right? So whatever it was, okay, whatever it was in the past, that added up to the Five of Cups or our grieving card, right, has now been left behind. You are filling your own cup now, and that's going to position you to give and receive the love that you know you deserve, right? Like the love that you've always have been maybe like looking for or have been giving other people. So this is a very positive indication, okay? So that's now a love reading. So again, universe, we're very aggressive right now with our answers. I love that. Okay. We're gonna get one more card and then we're gonna do bottom of the deck energy. Okay. So the bottom of the deck energy is like the aspects that are like hidden to us or like something that like we haven't taken into consideration. Okay, so let's see. One more card and then we'll do bottom of the deck. Let's see what we get. Ooh, okay. Page of Wands. Page of Wands, okay? So this now makes me feel like, okay, our potential Gemini and whoever it is that is navigating like relationships and like self-love and like the healing piece, this makes me feel like you are in this like almost kind of like a apprentice stage of your creative passions and like what fuels you. Okay. So when we talk about the Page of Wands, how I like to interpret this is with like the court cards, like it's almost kind of like high school years, right? So like the page is like a freshman, the knight's like your sophomore, the queen is your junior, and then the king is like the senior, right? So this is someone who's like just starting fresh, right? This is someone who might be navigating like a creative endeavor that they're passionate about. Okay. So like when you think creative, I don't want you to think about like the cups type of creative, right? It's not necessarily like artistic. It could be if that's your passion, but this is making me feel like you're really trying to like hone in on that inner magic, that inner manifestation to get yourself to the place where you're like, okay, like I my passion is now my career, right? So this makes me feel like you might also be like doing a little bit of like looking into like internships or like shadowing people in the field that you want to get into, right? Like you might be like starting to like network and try to like make those connections to give you the experience that will help you move forward in terms of like again like your career, like your passion projects, like what motivates you, okay? So now we're going to do bottom of the deck, okay? And let's see what we get. What are some aspects that are hidden to us, okay? This is like the shadow card for this reading. Let's see. You going through a transformation. You going through a transformation. Okay, so when the death card shows up, like this kind of gets a bad reputation because people are like, "Oh my God, like what does that mean? Something negative?" No, like don't think of it as like literal, okay? So with this being like the shadow card or like bottom of the deck, this makes me feel like this could also be someone who has like Scorpio tendencies or like Scorpio placements. So like the death card and then also judgment are associated with someone who has Scorpio placements. Okay. And like when we think about like death, this is more so like a transformation in order to grow into the version of ourselves that we want to be, right? Because this is again, we're freshmen, right? Like when you're a freshman, like you don't know nothing about nothing. I mean, obviously, like you have like life experience and skill sets, right? But you don't know nothing about nothing right now in terms of like your motivation or like how to start or like how to get to like the passion project like end goal, right? So in order to become that, you got to leave something behind, right? Something has to be like put to rest metaphorically, right? So that might be old habits, that might be communication patterns, right? That could be addictive behavior, whatever it is, right? You got to leave something behind in order to step into that beginner mindset so that you can navigate towards your end goal, okay? So looking at oh gosh, I'm dropping things. looking at all of these cards, okay? Now remember, you had to go through a grieving process in order to reframe and see the opportunities that are around you, right? These are emotional opportunities. And these are like this is room for exploration, okay? And then because of that, you are giving yourself more love, compassion, and grace, right? This also is like kind of like self-compassion and falling in love with the process of like being a human, like involving like good and bad, right? Kind of like romanticizing your life a little bit, right? Which nothing wrong with that. And then also because you are shifting that you're reframing how you navigate feelings, how you're navigating relationships, right? How you're navigating relationships. That's putting you in a position to feel more motivated and also kind of like have the beginner mindset with your passions. Okay. So when we're talking about this specific person or like this energy, okay, you might have quite a few like water placements. You might have like straight up like just Gemini in your sun, moon, and rising. And you could also have a little bit of like fire placements, right? So this could be also like where you have like I'm getting like Sagittarius vibes somewhere, right? But like this again, like we'll keep it general. And then again, as always, right? If it resonates, take everything with a grain of salt. If it doesn't resonate, then this one's not for you, and that's okay, right? So interesting. This is a cool reading. This is cool. Okay, so just to summarize, right? So right off the bat, we got both of these cards flew out of the deck. So you are in this kind of like period of reframing, like you might be doing like some subconscious like cognitive restructuring, right? And you have no idea that you're doing it. Um, and then something also that we're taking into account is the love aspect here, right? So like this is very much like a anything is possible when we are offering like that unconditional love and compassion for ourselves as well as others, right? Almost kind of like that unconditional positive regard for human beings, right? So when you're navigating in that way, something that comes up is like where when you see the best in others, then that energy kind of comes back to you as well, right? So like offering that grace. And then because you're engaging in that healing process as well as like opening your heart for love, like again, giving and receiving, that's putting you in a position to feel more passionate and again, almost kind of like romanticizing like life and the actual like manifestation process. Okay. I love this for you. Okay. So I think that's about it for this reading, okay? And then if you stuck through the whole thing, you are a trooper and I appreciate you. If you stopped by, also grateful for you because we got 9 million things going on and that is okay, right? So one other thing that I just want to kind of like leave off with involving this reading, when you're navigating the like trying to not judge your feelings piece, I also want you to be mindful of finding individuals who will model the behavior that you yourself want to see. Okay. So it's hard to feel inspired when you're not seeing the behaviors that you want to embody, right? So you want to kind of find a mentor or like someone in the field, like someone that's inspiring you that is in alignment with the values that you hold. Okay. So I just wanted to like say like that last piece. So as always, you're divinely protected. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you have a wonderful night or day whenever you're watching this. And then I will see you in the next one. Okay? Thank you so much. Take care.